The World Health Organization reports cancer is on the increase around the world. But it says preventive measures can save the lives of millions of cancer sufferers over the next 10 years. The report was released in time for World Cancer Day. Since 2010, nearly every country in the world has seen an increase in the number of cancer patients. The World Health Organization, WHO, reports 1 in 6 people will develop cancer in their lifetime. At least 10 million people will die from the disease every year. If the current trend continues, WHO warns, new cancer cases will rise by 60% by the year 2040. In low and middle-income countries, they will rise by more than 80%. Andre Ilbawi is WHO's technical officer in cancer control. He says more people are dying from cancer in poorer countries because they lack the services and cancer control measures that richer countries have. Ilbawi said that controlling the disease does not have to cost a lot. The WHO report, he explained, shows that by investing in cancer services, governments can save 7 million lives by 2030. And that is at the cost of $2.70 per person in low-income countries and $8.15 per person in upper middle-income countries. This is feasible, Ilbawi said. WHO says cancer does not have to be a death sentence. Prevention works. Elisabetta Wiederpaz is the director of the International Agency for Research on Cancer. She says there have been great improvements in research on cancer prevention and treatment. These measures are successfully keeping many people alive who otherwise would have died. Wiederpaz said that preventive policies can work in powerful ways to reduce not only cancer numbers and death rates, but also the social and economic inequality in cancer cases. An example of such a policy, she said, is one that reduces workers' contact with cancer-causing materials. Other examples are measures to control tobacco use, vaccination against cancer-causing infectious agents, and testing for early stages of cancer. In its report, WHO describes a series of measures proven to help in preventing new cancer cases. For example, it notes that tobacco-related diseases are responsible for 25% of cancer deaths. Deciding not to smoke, it says, can save billions of dollars and millions of lives. WHO adds that a vaccine against hepatitis B can prevent liver cancer. It notes another vaccine against HPV, the most common sexually transmitted infection, can nearly eliminate cervical cancer. I'm Ann Ball.
Researchers have reported the largest ever single-year drop in cancer death rates in the United States. The rate of deaths from cancer fell 2.2% from 2016 to 2017. That is the largest drop since record-keeping began in 1930. The information comes from a new report by the American Cancer Society. The group announced the report's findings Wednesday. The Cancer Society says that overall death rates from cancer have fallen about 1.5% each year since 1991. Better treatments for lung cancer are part of the reason for the falling numbers, said Rebecca Siegel. She was the lead writer of the report.
Lung cancer has been the most common cause of cancer death in the United States, and now we have better therapies for our patients, and patients are living longer and better than ever before.
If deaths from lung cancer were not counted, the 2017 rate drop would only be 1.4%, Siegel added. In addition to better treatments, fewer people are getting lung cancer because fewer people are smoking. Improved treatments for lung cancer include the areas of surgery, scanning, and use of radiation. There are also better drugs. Genetic testing helps doctors choose the right drugs for the kind of cancer in a patient. Dr. Jyoti Patel is a lung cancer expert with Northwestern University in Illinois. She said new drugs that get the patient's own immune system to fight the cancer could help make the death rate fall even more. American Cancer Society researchers also found a large decrease in the death rate from melanoma, a kind of skin cancer. It has fallen by 7% a year recently. The decrease is largely because of new drugs that became available about 9 years ago. There are differences in cancer rates among racial and ethnic groups in the United States. African Americans have, for many years, had higher rates of cancer than white Americans. However, that gap is shrinking. Hispanic Americans have generally had the lowest cancer rates. I'm Jill Robbins.
From VOA Learning English, this is the Health and Lifestyle Report. Cancer is now the leading cause of death in wealthy countries. Researchers say cancer has replaced heart disease as the top killer in the industrial world. If the trend continues, they predict cancer could become the leading cause of death worldwide later in this century. However, the news is not that cancer deaths are increasing, but that deaths from cardiovascular disease are decreasing. Cardiovascular disease, or CVD, is a group of medical conditions that include heart failure, heart attack, and stroke. It remains the leading cause of death among middle-aged adults worldwide. But when you only look at deaths in industrial economies, that is not the case. In those countries, the new report shows that cancer now kills 2 times as many people as cardiovascular disease. The findings were published in The Lancet and presented at the recent European Society of Cardiology Congress in Paris. The research comes from a large ongoing study called the Prospective Urban Rural Epidemiology, or PURE. It is a project of the Population Health Research Institute of McMaster University and Hamilton Health Sciences in Canada. The PURE researchers have been collecting information about people from over 20 high, middle, and low-income countries. The data includes a person's medical history and individual behavior, such as physical activity and diet. Salim Yusuf is a researcher on the PURE study and a professor of medicine at McMaster University. He also serves as head of the Population Health Research Institute. Yusuf explained the study's findings in a statement to the press. The fact that cancer deaths are now twice as frequent as CVD deaths in high-income countries, Yusuf said, shows a change in the main cause of death in middle-aged people. He added that as CVD declines in many countries because of prevention and treatment, cancer mortality will likely become the leading cause of death globally in the future. Data from the PURE study has been used in several reports over the years. For this most recent report, the researchers followed more than 162,500 adults for 9.5 years. All of these men and women were between 35 and 70 years old. The subjects came from 21 countries. Gilles Dajanet helped to prepare the report. He is a professor at Laval University in Quebec, Canada. Speaking on a Canadian radio show, Dajanet explained that the world is experiencing a transition in disease trends. The main reason, he added, is the fact that cardiovascular disease rates have gone down in high-income countries. Dajanet noted that there is no increase in cancer rates. If anything, he said, there is a decrease. However, over the past 20 years, there has been a sharp decrease in cardiovascular disease. He said the two main reasons are developments in medicine and technology and changes in personal behavior. One lifestyle change, he said, is that fewer people in high-income countries are smoking cigarettes. But he warned that more people in these areas are becoming overweight. He says researchers do not know how rising obesity rates will affect deaths from cardiovascular disease in the future. Both Dajanet and Yusuf add that higher heart disease death rates in low-income countries could be mainly the result of lower quality health care. In recent years, several factors have greatly lowered the rate of heart disease in high-income countries. They include better treatment for heart disease and better medicines for blood pressure. And that's the Health and Lifestyle Report. I'm Anna Mateo.